Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Now, as you know, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace was a 1999 epic space opera film that was written and directed by George Lucas, and was the first entry into the prequels. Now, keep in mind that the prequels are meant to take place, while the first one is set 32 years before the original one, and during the era of the Galactic Empire. And keep in mind, before the prequels, Dark Horse Comics also did other stories way before the other movies, all sometimes set during after episode 6 and so on. So the premise of the film is meant to be about Obi-Wan Kenobi as well as Qui-Gon Jinn. And keep in mind this is meant to take place with Obi-Wan still being a Jedi, a sort of Padawan, while you have Qui-Gon Jinn, who is meant to be a Jedi Master. And after narrowly escaping the sort of ambush from the Trade Federation, and after trying to survive through the planet Naboo's jungle, we kind of see how them, as well as Jar Jar Binks, end up rescuing Princess Amidala, as well as traveling from Naboo, and then basically to go to Coruscant to help deal with the blockade on Naboo. And I would say the film itself feels, not only does the film feel like it shows the moment where Obi-Wan takes his first steps in becoming a Jedi Master, we're introduced to the potential of Anakin. Now, keep in mind the point of Anakin in Tatooine is that he's supposed to have the potential to become a Jedi. And you can tell Qui-Gon Jinn sees the potential in him. He knows he's meant to be the chosen one. And you can tell Qui-Gon takes on a kind of father-like role in helping Anakin become the sort of Jedi he expects him to be. And you can tell Yoda, Mace Windu, and some of the other Jedi are a bit more hesitant, as they don't know for sure if he's meant to be the chosen one. And when looking at the movie itself, it isn't as bad as what everyone said it was. I remember watching this in cinema with my grandmother years ago, and when looking at the stereotypes, like Watto sort of being a parody of this sort of Jewish money stereotype, when looking at the Trade Federation being portrayed as Asians, those sort of things are still relevant. And keep in mind, when you've got shows like South Park, Family Guy, as well as The Simpsons, they do make some points out that are kind of true. As well is that when looking at George Lucas's work with CGI, I can kind of tell that he did put a lot of effort into it. It was meant to show him moving away from puppets and mainly focusing on the new advanced CGI, which does work. And keep in mind, when you've got Yoda as the kind of puppet before the alteration, it kind of worked, but it felt out of place. I felt when you had the CGI Yoda in this one, it does fit a bit more better, and I think this is what he was trying to fix. That was all. And when you kind of got Darth Maul, he does pose as a believable threat. We see how two Jedi go against a dangerous Sith Lord, and the first sign that the Sith are slowly returning. And keep in mind, in the Dark Horse comics, the Sith always did return. There was always going to be Jedi that would fall down the cracks. There would always be a dark matter to the positive matter. And as well is that when you also had a lot of tie-in with Episode 1, like Star Wars Lollipops, you had basically a Jar Jar Binks kind of prize you could win from Chris Packett, it kind of worked. And I do think with Jar Jar Binks, he doesn't really work as a character, because when you've got a serious film like Star Wars, you don't want something like Jar Jar Binks to get in the way of it. And I can see why he's hated by majority of fans. Even The Simpsons, even Very Odd Parents took the mick out of him, as they knew he was a completely dumb character to work with. So, by the end of it, episode 1 is still good, despite a few flaws. So I think it deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.